to our vocabulary instruction professional development. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I first want to start off with saying this is just an enhancement to what you are already doing. Sherry went by, she noticed some great things that you were doing. She told me that you were doing great things with vocabulary. So this is just something that we want to put in place to enhance what you're doing. Our learning objectives today, we're going to understand the effects of an underdeveloped vocabulary, reinforce the structured vocabulary routine, and use a three-tier model to plan for explicit vocabulary instruction. What do we know about vocabulary development? So we are going to do a Kahoot. Let's go ahead and take out your phones.
About the only thing I didn't leave at home today, so. You can do it just by going to the website.
Yes, you can just go to the website.
Yeah. I'm in a meeting right there. Bye-bye. Wait, Miss H. Go to,
That's what Thomas head looks like.
just go.
I'm gonna go with her.
There you go. That's accurate.
First question.
Oh my.
Okay. There are over 600,000 word meanings in the Oxford Dictionary.
Okay. I am at the bottom.
It's okay, we're all winners. Next question. True or false? Oh, okay, half and half.
I'm
So,
skeptical.
it's true. 40,000 word meanings are recognized by a high school graduate.
She knew this.
We should get this.
Recognize?
Well, let's say having their vocabulary.
Not necessarily reading.
Right,
Okay.
having their
Having their
vocabulary.
vocabulary, that changes.
4,000 to 5,000 words.
Right.
4,000 to
To
5,000.
me, recognize is either this and this.
Yes, true.
So they should actually, learn 3,000 to 4,000 word meanings a year.
Sheesh.
Yes.
Look at you, Miss Harris.
And this is the last one.
I ended with 5. I should have gone with 3, but I just hit when we were out of time.
Yes. And And basically, at 3 years old, the extent of their vocabulary will determine their comprehension in third grade. That's like a real eye opener. So I guess somebody wants to know who's the winner?
Yay,
Maddie.
Maddie.
And?
Emily, you're not even on.
Be Harris.
Hey.
Go here.
Okay. How the gap in word knowledge grows. Take a moment to look at this data. What do we notice?
The older they get, actually more.
The larger the gap, the older.
The gap kind of closes a little bit at the end of kindergarten, but then like
It
bigger
gets,
as
yeah,
goes.
big.
Yes, yes. Kids that enter pre-K with a less of a vocabulary, like 1,000 words less, the gap continues to grow larger as they get older, because the kids that have a rich vocabulary entering kindergarten continues to grow in vocabulary. That vocabulary is it comes from home. They're engaging in conversations with parents. And so therefore, their vocabulary doesn't stop growing, it continues to grow. Our other students with a impoverished vocabulary, the gap continues to grow because they're not getting that rich vocabulary conversations at home. Research says that they're mostly being given instructions or commands to do this or do that, and they're not interacting in conversations with one another. Here's another chart. This is our iReady diagnostic. We pulled out the vocabulary results at the end of the 21-22 school year. So these are our third and fourth graders from last year, which are our fourth and fifth graders this year. Take a moment and look at this data. What are we noticing here?
More than half
40%.
of them are below grade level.
Yes.
And I feel like, well, never mind, it's
It's
just
not
the two grade levels below one is the biggest discrepancy.
Yes, that is true. When we look at it, it's like 50% almost or greater, right? But I want you to take a look at this field, early on grade level. This is at the end of the school year.
Oh.
So these kids scored, 22% of the kids scored early on grade level. So if it's at the end of the year, then technically they're still below. So what we're looking at is 65% of fourth graders are actually below. And look at our fifth graders. 76%. So how can we enrich students' vocabulary? Well, we're going to do that by incorporating explicit tiered vocabulary instruction across the content areas, not just in reading. When we think about vocabulary, we know, because we're all doing the letters training, we know that vocabulary is not linear. The best practice is not linear. They don't learn vocabulary and then we move on to word structure, then we move on to something else. That is not the way that kids learn, not the way we learn. Scarborough's reading rule, we've seen this over and over, tells us that vocabulary is intertwined with language strategies, word recognition. All of these things go together to increase student comprehension. You become a skilled reader over time because this is happening all at once, not independently or in different stages. So tiered vocabulary instruction, what is it and why is it important? When we look at tiered vocabulary instruction, we actually take vocabulary words and we group them into different tiers. Our tier ones are our high frequency words. These are red words or words that you don't need to teach these words. These are words that they basically come to school learning. These are words in their everyday vocabulary. So tier one words, we don't need to teach these high frequency words or red words. Our tier two words, these are our frequent flyer words, I like to call them. These are words that we encounter over and over across different subject areas. We do need to teach these tier two words. Our tier three words are our academic words. We need to teach these words as well, but we don't need to teach them as in depth as we do our tier two words. Our tier three words are words that we're going to encounter within specific subject areas. So for example, you're only going to see certain words in science and certain words in math. Those words do not have to be explicitly taught. You're going to teach those in the moment. You're going to give a quick definition for those, just enough for those kids to grasp that meaning, and then you're going to continue with the content that you're teaching. We're going to get the most bang for our buck if we begin to teach, or when we teach tier two words. So, how do we choose these tier two words? When we're thinking about tier two words, think of those words that must be taught. Here, we're going to go over some best practices for choosing these words. Choose the words that students probably don't know. Now, if you're thinking, they may know this word, I'm not certain about this, it's okay to poll the students. Say, give me a thumbs up if you know this word. It's okay to poll them before you begin with your instructions. Choose words that are necessary to understand the text. If they don't understand this word, they're not going to get the gist of what they're reading. Choose words likely to be found across content areas. That is the huge thing. That's the focus of choosing the tier two words, because you're going to get the most bang for your buck when these kids repeatedly see these words. Once you teach them what these words are, then they'll know across different content areas and you won't have to keep reteaching the same words. Teach words that are difficult to understand when a text doesn't support the meaning. Think about words that the kids may have to infer meaning when they're reading a text. Those are the words that you want to focus on. 3 to 5 words per selection. Now, if you are covering a text over a span of days, then you may want to choose 3 to 5 words each day. So if the text is longer and you're covering it over a period of time, 3 to 5 words for the text, the portion of the text that you're covering that day. So just keep that in mind. Here are the steps. And these are the explicit steps. These are the exact steps that you want to use. You're going to pronounce the word, read it, write it. You're going to make sure that students, and I'll give this to you as well. You're going to make sure that students accurately pronounce the word. Show them the word in written form because you want them, you want to talk about the syllables where the word is stressed in the syllables as well. Tell students what the new word means. Use kid-friendly definitions. This is, you don't have to use large words or increase their vocabulary in other areas. You want to solidify their knowledge of this word. If it helps, you can point out the Greek and Latin roots, only if that helps. But I encourage to use visuals, actions, and objects, whatever it is to solidify this in there. We want to imprint this word with them. Say more about the word. Give examples. Use the word in several sentences. Also use examples and non-examples. You're all familiar with the Freyer model. Ms. Dallas, I know you used to use this a lot when I saw this in your room yet last year. Like I said, this is things that you're doing. We want to make it systematic and explicit, and we want to take it across subject areas. Step 4, ask questions about the word meaning. When you ask these questions, these are just strictly yes or no questions. And the 5th step, this is where you're going to invite the students to use the word in a sentence. Now, it can be orally or it can be written.
Can you give an example of like what do you mean by a yes or no question to identify the word meaning?
I most definitely will.
Oh, excellent, sorry.
Now we're going to try it. Okay, our word is navigate. 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 So I'm going to underline the vowels because each syllable has a vowel. We know that when we're reading words in the English language, each syllable has a vowel. Navigate. So this word can be broken up here. Navigate means to move about or get around, maneuver through, or to just make your way through. It has a Latin root, and it was used primarily to sail across water, but now we use it quite frequently. And this word is a verb also, navigate. The way that we're going to use it is a verb. Okay, I've been told that Waze is better than the car's navigation system. So now I'm using the word navigate or variations of the word navigate in sentences. So again, I'll say that. I've been told that Waze is better than our car's navigation system because it stays more up to date than your car. Birds navigate by the sun. If you don't navigate your way through a crowd carefully, you can get separated from your party. Should you continue, now here's our yes or no questions. Should you continue navigating on a site if it's asking for your personal information? No. If there's ice on the road, do you navigate the roads more carefully? Would you say it's easier for a 5th grade student to navigate through our building than it is for a 1st grade student? Definitely, this building especially. Now I want you to use the word navigate or a variation of in a sentence with an elbow partner.
I shall navigate my way more
Waterfall. Would anyone care to share their sentence?
I'm really trying to navigate through life.
And you won the grand prize for today.
Yeah. Yay.
Go get your candy.
Okay. So now, I'm sorry, those were the steps that I went through. Now it's your turn. You're going to work with a partner to read the text, identify 3 to 5 Tier 2 words, and follow the steps to complete the vocabulary template for one of your Tier 2 words. There are copies on your tables.
Papers don't like me.
I was expecting.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the text and then I think Tier 2 words. Okay. 3 to 5 Tier 2. Third paragraph, slip rat.
Several miles west of Canyon before finally decided to stop the water. Are we underscoring as we read?
Yes.
Something that would be.
Are we just?
Fading. I'm really having trouble not finding those academic words. Mine does hard.
I know, that's hard.
No, I
used to call it
Because in the summertime, I hot.
Oh, maybe oasis. Alright, so pronounce the word, write it. Alright.
They said tier two.
Okay.
This is a trick.
I like the way she said that.
So tier two are words that they have to understand associations.
This year we have.
Understand the text, so they don't know the track.
Hey, I'm like, yeah.
Let's see, there was nowhere for that to go. It was furthest toward the desert. Yes, that's good. There was nowhere for that to go.
Yeah, because if you catch a glimpse of something.
There's desert.
You don't catch a glimpse of it.
After what seemed like hours, the sneaking reptile slithered away behind the tall, thin canvas.
So she was like us.
I think it's actually good.
Away from the snakes, that new sculptures fly.
There you go.
Slithered so near the backside of the plateau where he had tried to construct the plateau.
I said they're all good though. I just
I gave you Jack Reed, the top of the hill, and came down a coyote, feeding on the remains of the not so fortunate that coyote was enjoying quite a bit.
I think it's just.
And as
a set.
realized the sunlight was fading, insects were swarming, and he had to return to construct his place. He wished there was more time to observe the coyote's feast, but he knew that tomorrow was a day. There was plenty of time, this desert to track down the scorpion or chase the owl. Mouse, right? So let's.
That's another word that I remember. That word too.
I can't, slither.
Here, I'll hold it. Trap.
Forward to limbs, mid, plateau, twisting. And also underline twisting motion. To slide. That's the first paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4th line down.
So,
Oasis.
like slide.
Okay. Now. Oh, she said 3 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's one.
All right, follow the steps so you can have
Using a student tracker. That's confusing, but that's because it's got an ED on it, so. Yeah, but.
Track.
Pronounce the word and write it in
Journey. Glimpse is to just see a little bit more.
They're gonna know rugged and terrain.
So like.
Move. Same word on the word. Same one.
It was.
Track when you track.
One more minute.
To track is to go on a long, arduous, or hard journey.
And then I would connect it to like a snake.
Okay. I said or.
Cross to
You said I said arduous or hard.
Oh,
So they understand that arduous and hard.
Okay. So, you don't wanna do arduous and hard? Okay.
Okay. The word track means to.
For a long journey.
Yeah.
Ask questions about the.
He answered yes.
No. Oh, you missed it. It's not in here, but he's going to.
Yeah, Caitlin.
And if you didn't, they just get a.
So many wrong places in the story. I'm looking for, say more about the word, use the word several times. I'll give an example of its use.
The greatest story of the life. The greatest story of total fun.
You should do that though, it makes people confident when Jesus.
That's the question. Is any are reading plans? I know he needs to. So, don't you, hold on, let's write this.
Okay, waterfall. Would anyone care to share either a word or your thoughts so far?
One of the words I underlined was tract. And, well, first of all, to me, that sounds hard to, it's a single syllable, but it has like the two vowels, so that would be a little tricky. But you could have even just done tract if you didn't want to teach it as tract, I was thinking.
And when I went around, I think everybody did select that word tract. And that is actually a good word, because we have to think about our population, and this was some conversation that we had with my first table. We have to think about our student population. We have a high population of ELs. Are they going to understand or know what that word tract is? No. Think about the socioeconomic status of our kids. Are they going to know what that word tract is? So our kids need the explicit instruction, because this is where they're going to get it from. Our kids won't get it in their experiences as some of the other kids will. One of the other things that came up from quite a few people was there are so many words that our kids don't know. There are so many words that they don't know. And we recognize this. And unfortunately, we cannot teach every word. But if we begin to do this as a school, and it starts in the younger grades, and as we build up, then our kids' vocabulary will begin to increase. Because remember, these are tier 2 words that we're seeing across content areas. So hopefully, as a school, when we begin, it will carry over, and we won't have as many vocabulary impoverished kids. Okay? Good job. You have successfully completed a tier 2 vocabulary lesson. Now I want to, thinking about, those are some of the challenges and roadblocks, and thinking about some of the challenges and roadblocks. As Ms. Williams was saying, there are so many words that she's trying to put in her lesson. We can't teach it all, okay? But somebody may be thinking, well, where will I find the time to teach this? When we teach vocabulary across the content area, you're really getting more bang for your buck, because the knowledge will transfer over into other content areas. And what you're really doing is you are teaching the kids to be learners for themselves. You're teaching them to learn and not learn to pass a test. You're also increasing comprehension. This, in the end, increases their comprehension, and that's what you want overall. Those are the overall results that we want. I have a lot of high students in my class. They might not need this. Rich vocabulary instruction benefits all students. It does. Kids can learn synonyms, antonyms. They can learn root words, Greek and Latin roots. it just benefits all students.
And really at the higher levels of reading, that's where they grow the most, because they've already got the reading skills. Now it's the vocabulary.
Yes. Thank you. Next steps. I would like you to try a vocabulary lesson in one content area other than reading, because that's what we're working towards. And I'm going to check back in with you in 4 to 5 weeks. I'll check back in with grade levels just to see how it's going, what support you need. and so on. Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. If you could just take 2 minutes to complete this survey for me. And this really helps me to get better.
You did great.
Yes.
Amazing.